Greetings, everyone. Hope all of you are having an absolutely fantastic day. Yesterday, Owlcat conducted a stream showing off the co-op gameplay in Warhammer 40K Rogue Trader. They were kind enough to provide me with early access for a build of the game that not only has co-op, but also many new updates to the game overall. This build is a reflection of what we will get upon full release outside of the last two acts of the game and whatever final patches Owlcat is able to put together. Keep in mind, I have not played with co-op at all, so I cannot provide any perspective on how well it's running. Our live stream of this game will be full co-op right from the start, so if you want to join in, be sure to hit the link in the description and join our Discord channel. I will continue covering this game over the next month, so if there's any other videos regarding Rogue Trader you want to see, please let me know in the comments below. In this video, I'll give you my thoughts on the newest update, but first, let me remind everyone that here at Slandered Gaming, we focus on RPGs, and more specifically, CRPGs. You can find builds, guides, and live streams for games like Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous, Baldur's Gate 3, and Pillars of Eternity. If that kind of stuff interests you, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe so you don't miss any future content. Alright, so from the beginning, when you start a new game, you'll be able to select a difficulty. Anybody who has played Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous will be very familiar with this screen. I just entered Act 2 of a core playthrough, and thus far, in my opinion, the experience is very comparable to what you have experienced in Pathfinder. I will say, in my opinion, Rogue Trader is easier to play than those games because the mechanics are significantly easier to understand. More on that later. Next, you get to create your character, and as always, Owlcat allows you to either select one of their portraits or import your own. The portraits all look fantastic, and there's a good variety that fits with different role-playing options. And another fantastic touch, when you click on a portrait, the game automatically changes your model to exactly match the picture, potentially saving you a lot of time in character creation. Speaking of character creation, there aren't a ton of options there, considering you rarely see your character up front, but there are a few to create someone who looks interesting. There are a couple of things I really like about the system. First, when it comes to tattoos, instead of a slider that shows different options, they let you add on 5 layers of ink. So you can potentially have tats on both of your arms, a tat on your back, a tat on either side of your head, anything along those lines. It's really cool and will help me to create an absolute psycho. They also let you add on 2 layers of augmentations, giving you a bit of a cyborg look. Super cool, and I'll definitely make use of this system. After you finish these selections, you get to choose a voice, and once again, it's nice to have multiple options that fit closer to who your character is, as opposed to just choosing between male and female. Once your appearance is solidified, it's time to choose your homeworld. Each homeworld provides a feature that you automatically get and talents that can be selected during your playthrough. You get a lot of opportunities to choose talents, so making sure there are good ones available to your character is very important, and this is definitely not a fluff choice. A lot of this information hasn't changed, but some of it wasn't properly filled out before, so it's now much easier to see what each of them provides. I'll create a separate video walking through all the options. Next is Origin, which is going through more drastic changes. Each origin describes what kind of work you were doing before becoming the Rogue Trader. It also gives your armor a visual template. This choice is even more important than your homeworld, as not only does it provide characteristic modifiers and features, but it also helps to determine what characteristics or attributes you can upgrade when leveling up, along with giving you access to a host of talents. The mechanics here are fantastic and really help to lean into a particular archetype. All of them have received some attention, but Sanctioned Psyker is the one that has went through the most drastic changes. Now it has its own visual template and a host of new mechanics to flesh out the experience. When you select this option, the game will let you choose between 5 different Psyker archetypes, including Biomancer and Pyromancer. There are also talents you can select to unlock these paths, so you can absolutely play a Psyker with access to all 5. I've been using Psyker party members quite a bit, and the experience has been phenomenal. I will definitely play a Sanctioned Psyker when live streaming this game. Next, you are asked to pick your greatest triumph and your darkest hour. Each of these options is tailored towards the origin you originally selected. It's not clear to me yet how they factor into the game. After this, you can finally select your archetype, which is the new name for discipline or class. New options have been added, and operative, which previously was adept, has been reworked to make it simpler and more effective. I'll comb through each of the archetypes individually, but bottom line, the mechanics in the game are a blast to play with, and I think Owlcat has done an incredible job putting this system together. As I previously mentioned, what each option does is right there in black and white, so it's not nearly as difficult to understand as Pathfinder, but at the same time, it's very deep, and there's a lot of different ways to outfit your party. The one disadvantage that's probably worth mentioning compared to previous Owlcat games is that you cannot freely move characters from one archetype to the other. You have to stay in whatever choice you pick, and this also controls what other archetypes you can upgrade the Rogue Trader into. This might be jarring for people coming from Baldur's Gate 3 or Wrath of the Righteous, but I would say when playing the game, it's honestly not a big deal. Levels come fast and furious, so by the time you get to Act 2, you'll either hit or be close to level 16 when you can choose one of 3 different options, and it'll help to give you a greater feeling of control over the character. After you distribute your points across the characteristics, you can then choose your Void ship. You get 3 different options, and you can name the ship whatever you choose. I have only done a couple of space battles, so I cannot provide an opinion yet on whether or not there's been a significant improvement there, although I will say the interface is definitely better. Once you're finished with character creation, it's time to venture out into the world. Even if you have played the beta before, Owlcat has added some new things to make your journey interesting. Most importantly, there's significantly more voice acting in the game, especially for all of your party members. In my opinion, Adira most especially benefits from this, as hearing the wacky way her dialogue is delivered makes her a significantly more interesting character. The game also looks much cleaner and crisper than before, with cutscenes getting a clear upgrade. The level up process feels a lot cleaner now, as even though there are a ton of different options, they are all separated into different categories that help you quickly get to what you are specifically looking for. There's a lot more unique items now for a wide variety of build options. I did feel like Psychers were lacking in this area, as I kept running into staffs that provided different abilities, but not gloves or helmets that were meant for someone using Psyker abilities. I am still early in my playthrough though, so this could change. Enemy difficulty has definitely been tuned up as well, especially bosses. I am playing on core now as opposed to normal, which was where I did my first playthrough, but I am pretty sure it's more than that. The end of Act 1 most especially shredded my team, and I only just barely escaped alive. Great stuff, and again, I think people who are looking for a challenge will be very pleased. So of course the big question is, how stable is the game? Let's start with the good here. It's already in a better place than Wrath of the Righteous was at launch. Throughout my time with the game, I haven't come across any quest-breaking bugs, and I didn't experience that in the previous beta version either, so I feel very confident about this. What the game does have is a ton of little small bugs, some of which repeatedly pop up. You click on a square and the character doesn't move, weird visual issues, area of effect markers sometimes don't show how they should, stuff like that. Also, they added a respec option, but using it broke Argenta. It took away all the talents she had selected, but didn't allow me to select new ones. I wouldn't go so far as to say these issues mar the experience, and the game is stable, but there are some areas that definitely need to be shored up. Is 1 month enough time to do that? Probably not to clean up everything, but I do believe 1 month is enough time to get the game to the point where I could comfortably say it was release ready. Similar to Baldur's Gate 3, where the game certainly wasn't perfect, but I also didn't think Larian gypped fans by not pushing back the release date. However, also similar to Baldur's Gate 3, the main point of concern will be those final acts that none of us have ever touched. Even content creators like me, who are getting early access to Rogue Trader, haven't had the opportunity to play in Act 4 and 5 to provide bug reports. Therefore, we already know those acts are going to be less stable than the rest of the game, and the question will be how much less. That will probably be a large determining factor in how this game is looked upon after full release. Those are my thoughts thus far on the Rogue Trader beta update. I'll continue covering this game up through its release, so again, let me know down in the comments if there's any particular videos you want to see. Hope all of you enjoyed this video. Take care.